in 23 when I wrote my mains, बहुत bulky answers लिख रही थी मैं, and although the content was good, but it was not coming out. In 24 when I did not give mains, but वो 24 की मेहनत 25 में काम आई. So कभी कभी बस सर नीचे करके मेहनत करनी पड़ती है. I remember कि उन 2.5 months maybe there was one day where I was just overwhelmed by so much information that I sat and I cried for 10 minutes, and then I got back on my chair and started studying. जब मेरे पेपर कंप्लीट नहीं हो रहे थे, it is not because I write slowly, it is because I think slowly. अगर आप एक टॉपिक रिवाइज नहीं करते हो तो you take a lot of time to think कि वो क्या था, वो क्या लिखा था, and in that time your time gets wasted. So make sure that you revise a lot, brainstorm a lot, and automatically आपका पेपर कंप्लीट होने लग जाएगा. इस साल भी ऐसे क्वेश्चंस आए थे where you can attempt the section A, B, but the C question is something that requires you to have a peripheral knowledge about a subsection in syllabus. So make sure that you have something about everything and not everything about something in the syllabus. In 2023, I made the introductions very boring and generic. एक ही एक जैसे लिख रही थी. You have to do something different. If अगर आपने 2-3 इंट्रोडक्शन बहुत प्लेन लिख दिए हैं तो अपने आप आपको रियलाइज हो जाना चाहिए कि थर्ड इंट्रोडक्शन यू डू समथिंग डिफरेंट. ये टॉपिक्स हैं जो यू कैन नॉट अफोर्ड टू लूज, क्योंकि वो आएंगे ही इन एनी और अदर वे. सो ये हाई यील्डिंग टॉपिक्स के मैंने स्पेसिफिकली वैल्यू एडिशन पॉइंट्स प्रिपेयर करे थे. एंड आई रिमेम्बर एक दिन आप रात तक हम 9-9:30 तक बैठे थे in a crash course class. But it was fun. I think वो मेहनत काम आती है कभी.
So hello everyone. Good morning, good afternoon. Today we have all India ranked 44 Deeksha with us, and she has scored stupendously well in history optional today. This time her score in history optional was 279. In paper 1 137 and paper 2 142. And she is now gonna join Lavasana very soon. But before that, we have requested Deeksha to help us with our students about history optional. She has been the student of Level Up for, I think, last 2 years or 3 years, Deeksha, now? It's 3 years. 2.5 years. Okay. So, in various courses. Firstly, I would like to congratulate her on her stupendous success. And I will just give her the platform. But before that, I have a couple of comments. The lecture today or discussion today is in a specific format. Deeksha will be presenting her presentation, and it will go section by section. First, we'll discuss ancient India, then medieval, then modern and world. And for every section, she will discuss her approach and strategy and the main doubts students generally have. We will also be taking some doubts twice in the whole discussion. First, at the end of paper 1, the doubts about paper 1, and then at the end, paper 2 and overall doubts. So I think let us start.
Hello everyone. Thank you so much, sir, for the generous introduction. Hello everyone. My name is Deeksha. I think the introduction has been enough, but I'll just cut the chase and start with the presentation. I had prepared something for history optional because I thought that maybe this might help you. Seeing the copies and my notes physically might give you an idea as to how I did my preparation. So let us just start with map section and the ancient history section. So let me. Is it visible?
Yes.
Yes. So starting with the map section, I think this is one of the most important section. 50 mark determines a lot in the ranking. So for the basic material, I referred to Rashid Yassin book of map. But now I think Level Up has also introduced its own mapping book. So I think any of these books can really help you in making sure that you cover all the PYQs first. So I made sure that at least 15 years ke PYQs of map I had done already. And then self-study history ka bhi material tha mere paas, mapping ka. So both of these helped me to cover almost all the sites. In the paper, I attempted around 14 to 15 sites. There were 4 to 5 sites that I could not recognize or might have gone wrong. So I think the accuracy level of mapping, the target should be 17 to 18. It is okay if you do not get 100% accuracy in this, because there will be an element of uncertainty in mapping. So my focus was more on Stone Age sites, Paleolithic, Mesolithic, Neolithic, Chalcolithic, because it is something that is constantly repeating. And I had made at least no detailed notes of 50 to 100 sites, including the districts. So not all the districts, but yeah, the important sites, I had learned all the districts and the specific information about them. Now I know that mapping is very difficult because you're not able to recall every site, and there are multiple sites बहुत पास में. So for that I had different revision strategies. So I used to ask my friends to draw a map and ask me randomly what site is present in Gujarat, what site is present in MP. So that active recalling by your peer or batchmates, that really help a lot. So by this quiz slash visual recalling, I tried to remember more and more sites. So that was my strategy. In the theoretical 30 word section, most of the times the information that you write is generic. The template is ready. For example, if it's a Stone Age, the microlith, then you write about the tools present, you write about the domestication that is happening. So it is okay to write a generic information about the sites. The most important thing is identification. Information may, if you even write one specific uh, information about the site, I think that is more than enough. So apart from that, I also referred to some current affair section in the mapping. For example, Sinoli, if the excavation is happening there. So maybe UPSC is getting dynamic, and so it can ask certain sections which are in news. So I had made a WhatsApp group with me with history optional title था उसका, and whatever sites I used to get in newspaper, I just used to take a picture and send it on the group. So end में just go through the sites that you had sent yourself, which were in the current affairs. So these were the things that I wanted to share about mapping section specifically. Coming to the theoretical section of ancient India. So yes.
हाँ, I just wanted to know कि डेली रिचुअल क्या होता था मैपिंग का, हाउ मच टाइम यू यूज टू गिव टू इट. इनिशियली आपने प्लॉट भी किया होगा मैप्स को, राइट, अलग अलग जगह से रेफर किया होगा, देन यू वुड हैव कोलेटेड इट एंड देन यू वुड हैव कम डाउन टू रिवीजन ऑन अ डेली बेसिस, राइट? तो इनिशियली कितना टाइम दिया, व्हाट वाज द एग्जैक्ट स्ट्रेटजी दैट यू अडॉप्टेड एटसेट्रा?
Yes, after prelims, I gave it half an hour every day.
Okay.
And uh, just before the exam, like 4 days you get for optional. In those 4 days, I used to give extra time, like around 40 minutes to 1 hour to mapping.
Right.
So half an hour just before sleeping, you just take it as a fun activity. So that doesn't seem like a burden. So yes, half an hour.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, so coming back to the theoretical section, this is the screenshot of my map, my syllabus. So each and every word I had underlined, and I had made sure that I had different notes prepared on it. So I think this is something that you have to do for each and every section. हर सब unit का हर एक word पे आपके पास कुछ material होना चाहिए. Not extensive, because effectively you cannot write more than 250 words. So for each and every word, you should at least have 150 to 250 words का notes. So I made sure that जब भी मैं notes बनाने जाती थी या पढ़ने जाती थी, first I have the syllabus in front of me, then I have the PYQ booklet in front of me, and then my class notes in front of me. So these three things have to be there. So for example, if I am starting revising sources, for sources I will ensure that I'll see the syllabus, I'll see the PYQ कि इससे क्या क्या आ चुका है already, and then I'll read my notes, and after I've learned everything, then I'll write my PYQs. So I think this gives a systematic approach of learning as well as revising. And yeah, so for ancient, I had referred VK Jain. It's a very thin book. regarding prehistory. So I had read it before prelims only, which is quite useful because of UPSC anyway. It is asking more about Chalcolithic, Neolithic, Mesolithic. इस साल भी Chalcolithic पे पूरा question था. So I did it through VK Jain, and then Upinder Singh is the basic book. Apart from that, I had certain college notes already prepared in my graduation. I did my history honors from Miranda House, and that I had certain notes already prepared on certain topics.
Diksha,
So that,
can I stop you for a moment to ask a couple of questions?
yes,
First is about Upinder Singh's book. It's a very comprehensive book, very thick book, and I think it contains a lot of details. The
yes,
question that students generally ask is how to decide what not to read and what to read in that book.
yes, sir. That is a genuine question. But again, that is why I took my syllabus and then kept it in front of me. अगर syllabus में archaeology लिखा है, then there is a possibility that anything and everything can come in the paper. So if archaeology का थोड़ा सा भी section है, just read it out of interest. Don't make full notes out of it, but do make notes of certain author, name, sites. For example, B.B. Lal, he's very crucial in archaeological excavation. Have certain sites prepared. So I think you have to be smart in note making, but you have to be a little liberal in reading.
Okay,
That's a
nice.
very, yes.
Yeah.
So these were my sources largely, and then of course level up whatever crash course we did and the paper discussions we had. Um, all these PYQs that we attempted, I had a different uh, one pager notes prepared for them. So that also really helped. So coming to the part where ancient India is really becoming dynamic in the sense that they are not asking factual questions, they're asking analytical questions. So for
Hmm.
that, I think that was my strong suit. I was not very good in remembering factual information, but analytical question or debatable question, they are low hanging fruits because it gives you a lot of space to actually express what you know. So for me, ancient India was my favorite because उसमें debates और ये मुझे बहुत अच्छे लगते थे. The analytical part, I know the resources are limited, but I think even in level up whatever we discuss the debates on Ashoka, Buddhism, Harsha, all these debates, आप उस debates का एक one pager बना लीजिए, and after that one pager you just write the major arguments and the scholars associated with it. You will subsequently write the answers. So थोड़ा सा non-conventional approach रहना चाहिए for ancient India. Don't be very factual and just ratify the facts. For example, I had taken one example of this year only that the question came that Harappans were not artistic people, comment. So it gave a lot of scope to go beyond the question as well. It had hidden historiography as well. And I think it is more important to understand what is the hidden demand of the question. So in this question where Harappans were not artistic people, you had to give in certain analytical part where colonial historiography uh, portrayed Harappans as non-artistic and compared it with Egyptian and other civilization. So I think when you understand the demand of the question, the analytical part does not become a very big problem. So I did a critical analysis of that colonial perspective and then wrote the factual bit of artistic achievements of Harappans. Then the second question that comes is how to interlink different topics, religion, art, economy, and especially for 20 markers, they are giving a very broad questions that is demanding a lot of interconnections. So for that, I think you have to brainstorm a lot. Once you, just like essay, जब अपन essay attempt करने जाते हैं, you first sit with it and brainstorm it. I think similarly for 20 markers as well, it requires 1 minute of attention. Where you read the question and then you understand what all subsections you'll make under it and how interconnections what all sections you'll include. So for 20 markers, I used to take 1 minute to think and brainstorm the broad understanding of the question. So for this, I had taken an example of the ideological challenge posed by Jainism and Buddhism was deeply rooted in the socio-economic transformation. This question I had attempted in my real paper as well. So for this, you had to connect religion with economy and with society. Uh, these were the three things that you had to interconnect. So I think in our mind, it is very clear why it happened, but it is very difficult to write all this in a very comprehensive manner. So for that, divide the question as much as possible, give multiple subheadings, and make sure that your introduction and conclusion is binding all the arguments. Beach 20 markers may, it is a possibility that the examiner will not read each and every word of yours. So make sure that the introduction बहुत सही है, एकदम apt है. It is capturing the essence of the question, and the conclusion is just concluding all the arguments that you have made above. So for me, 20 markers were really important, and uske liye introduction conclusion extremely important. उसके beyond subheadings were really important. जो भी question में ही दिया है उसी की subheadings बना के I used to write it. So this was the second thing. Yes.
Can I ask one thing here? For
Yes, sir.
20 markers, when we focus on intro and conclusion, what is the usual length that you permitted yourself for intro and conclusion? Is it like one sentence, two sentence, one half page?
Sir, sometimes my introduction used to go up till half page. I won't recommend it to everybody, but sometimes introduction requires you to give a broad understanding. But still, I think 1/4 page or maximum half page, that is enough. And conclusion was relatively smaller than the introduction.
Okay.
So, yes.
Yeah.
Going forward, the third important thing for ancient history is tailwords, because it defines the demand of the question. So the comment, critically analyze, or analyze. Um, there are different tailwords coming now. Give your opinion, which is coming in GS. So I think tailwords को पकड़ना बहुत important है to make sure कि आपको कितने सब endings देना है और कितने counter arguments देना है. That is really important. So make sure जब आप answer writing कर रहे हैं, you pay more focus on the tailwords. Then fourth is I used a lot of maps, flowcharts, and timelines. Ancient India is a subject which has the luxury कि आप थोड़ा सा extra कर सकते हो because you already know the basics. So you have to have an edge over a generic answer. So for that, make sure that you use the maps क्योंकि आप already 50 mark का map prepare कर रहे हो. You're giving half an hour every day for it. So why not utilize it in the theoretical section as well? So I used a lot of maps, even to represent a dynasty. To even if the question is not asking, I used to make a map. थोड़ी जगह भी cover कर लेता है वो, and it also gives a good aesthetic sense to your answer. Flowchart also becomes important, especially when the question is very open-ended. 18th century आ गया पूरा, या just the whole Mauryan Empire. So there's a lot of years and events included in those centuries. So if you want to represent it, you can represent it in a timeline. So there was this question this year about the chalcolithic tool that the people used. So in that question, I had drawn a lot of tools, the microliths, the chopping tools, and the boulders. Whatever I could remember, I drew it, and I made a box around it, and I labeled it. So I think that gives an understanding to the examiner that you have not just factually ratified the answer, but you have actually understood ki kaise the tools. And not just drawing the tools, but also telling the examiner ki this shows how cognitive development of the humans took place, slowly and steadily. So uh, go beyond the demand of the question. Thoda sa one step extra, 1 mark extra in every question, so that cumulatively your marks can increase. Because in 2023, I wrote very generic answer. I got 250 in my optional. And this year, the 30 marks jump was because maybe I used one extra thing in every question. Then the fifth important thing is debatable questions जो ancient India में आते हैं. So I think this is also very interesting. It gives you a lot of scope to write historiography. So I know ancient India में the notes are very extensive. Debate वाले question maybe you have इतने thick books बन जाते हैं at the end of the day. But for me, I had made sure कि end में आते आते I had just made इतना सा note. If there is a debate on IVC, I had just made this much note so that I can read it just before my examination in those 4 days, and I had stuck it on my wall. So this is why I've given a picture as well. अगर IVC के बारे में कोई भी debate है, make sure that you know the major arguments. आप elaborate कर लोगे. You know the story. You just need to know the scholars and their major arguments. So make very short notes, especially for debatable questions, and I think that will help in the end. Um, yes, and I think the next important part is art and culture questions.
Just a moment. About the debates in ancient India, uh, if one prepares for such short notes for all the major debates, can you give me a sense of how many debates that were prepared for ancient India? I mean, but these 40, 50, कितने debates है? In general sense, not exact number, roundabout guess.
I think 12 to 15 I had made इतने से
Okay.
छोटे notes
Okay.
for ancient India. Medieval में भी है 18th century especially. So उसमें भी थे. तो collectively around 40 debates होंगे
Nice.
in my note.
Okay.
Yes, so coming to art and culture questions, it is very rewarding and it is a low hanging fruit, although it doesn't seem like it, but it is. So I had a different handout for art and culture questions. For example, अगर Mauryan है, Gupta है, and Vijayanagar है, for each and every dynasty, I had made different art and culture notes for them. So it is very useful in GS1 as well and in optional as well. GS1 mein you write the factual analysis. In the optional part, you write certain analytical part as well. For example, if we are talking about Mauryan art and architecture, we do compare it with the Mesopotamian architecture, and then we show how art represents political unification. We also give the analytical part by quoting scholars like Susan Huntington. So I think GS से थोड़ा सा बदलता है art and culture questions when you give this analysis part. But apart from that, art and culture is very rewarding. वो हर unit में एक and art and culture आ ही रहा है. So it's better not to ignore these questions and make sure that you have 2-pager notes for each and every dynasty prepared. And थोड़ा सी drawing भी बना दो. I think that rewards. So prelims के लिए भी I think when you start reading about prelims, उसमें भी art and culture आता ही है. So it's not that you have to go an extra mile. You're already reading about it. You just have to refine it. Then the seventh important thing was South India. Especially in ancient and medieval, there is a lot of now focus on the peripheral aspects of history. Ahom, Vijayanagar, Chola, Chera, Pandya, Pallava and Chalukya ka conflict. ये सब repeat होते ही हैं. There is always one question from South India that comes in, even the Sangam era. So I personally did not like it because the names were very complicated. But I made sure कि at least PYQs तो मैंने करे ही थे सारे South India के. And I also made sure कि थोड़ा सा value addition करा था. For example, there's a very there's a lot of current aspects about South India. For example, Sir had a session with Anirudh Kanisetti, and the Lord of the Deccans book had come out. So that is something that you can add to give an extra edge in any answer that comes on Chola Empire. Secondly, there's this recent happening INS Kondenya by Sanjeev Sanyal. So he's remaking the maritime ships of that era. So these are current affair notes that I utilized in my optional answers as well. So I think वो एक current affairs से connect बहुत important है. History is not a static subject. It is a very dynamic subject, and you have to represent that to the examiner. So South India for that, and South India के लिए again 250 words maximum notes. For example, Chera, Pandya, Chola, these are the dynasties that might or might not come. But आपके पास हमेशा 250 to 300 words का notes prepare होना चाहिए for anything that has to come. You cannot go beyond these words. So limited notes, but on each and every dynasty. So I think that was it for ancient. I'll come to early medieval, sir, if that's fine.
Yeah.
So early medieval also, this time there was a full unit on early medieval. One full unit, as in 3 questions there were on early medieval. So I think it's a very rewarding section, because there is not much to know about it. There is just one broader understanding to know कि हो क्या रहा था early medieval में. What is the debate between colonial perspective and the Indian perspective? Once you get the idea of what was early medieval, it is very easy. So for early medieval, I had prepared society, polity, economy, culture, religion. In these 5 सेक्शन आप notes prepare कर लो on early medieval, and हमेशा question एक section पे आएगा. It's either about the religion of early medieval or the economy. So make sure that your notes are इतना comprehensive कि even if there is a question on one sub-unit of your notes, you can write 3 pages. So for
This
that
is
early,
this is little counterintuitive, to be very honest, because I have myself as a student and then as a teacher, and many students try to struggle more with early medieval. I'll tell you the reason also. There are 2 reasons, to be very honest, or the 3 reasons. One is that this comes at the end of ancient India book, at the beginning of the medieval book. So there is no one single book that covers the complete early medieval at one place. Secondly, there is no one major empire. A lot of regional polities are there. It gets all the more confusing. And thirdly, the debates that you are referring to, there are so rich debates that I don't know what stance to take at the end. How do I approach that?
that, it is quite complicated, sir. But I think we all know that in conclusion, you don't have to give a definitive answer to the examiner. Even the examiner knows कि उसको भी नहीं पता है कि क्या था. So everything is open-ended here. So rather than writing a thesis answer, you just write whatever diplomatic stand you can take in the conclusion, that this was the thing, and more research is needed in this section. And that is one conclusion that you can use in early medieval, especially क्योंकि research नहीं हुआ है इतना. So you can really write कि it needs to be further researched. And it is true that there is no one source for it, but there are certain, you have already uploaded the YouTube video lectures, so I think people can refer to that. Level up का material भी है, and apart from that, IGNU का material है on early medieval. That is also quite enriching. For medieval as well as early medieval, IGNU material is good. So these 3 things. In terms of debates, historiography becomes important. A lot of historiography in this section that is not conventionally present at one place. So I think that is also something that is covered in the optional classes. So that is it. But since the debates are so lengthy, I used to prepare mind maps. So there's a very interesting concept. Sherlock Holmes used to build mind palace. So when you close your eyes, you can imagine things that are happening. So I used to do this trick whenever I used to have a very broad timeline based questions. I used to close my eyes and imagine what the era was actually like. And usme imagine what the economy is like, what the polity is like, and the society. When you prepare that mind map, it becomes easy to recall. And you make tricks and tips to remember these. So this was something that I did. Also, make sure that your answers are interconnected. Early medieval is a section that, if you're talking about religion, it is bound to be interconnected by decentralized polity or economy. So land grants. So interconnectedness is very important in early medieval. And yes, again, you cannot afford to focus just on the mainstream subjects and ignore the peripheral topics. इस साल भी ऐसे questions आए थे where you can attempt the section A, B, but the C question is something that requires you to have a peripheral knowledge about a subsection in syllabus. So make sure that you have something about everything and not everything about something in the syllabus. तो horizontal expansion ज़्यादा होना चाहिए rather than the vertical depth of the topic. So this was it about early medieval. Coming to medieval, sources were limited. Satish Chandra, there were 2 parts of Satish Chandra book, and IGNU material. Again, MA IGNU material for medieval India. Apart from that, again, test discussions and the value addition material that we did in the classes. The second part is that in medieval India, the questions are very theme based. It's not very specific. So, for example, there is a broad question on the economy of Sultanate, Mughal, or the 18th century. So, again, a very broad based, theme based notes on Sultanate, Mughal, 18th century. For Sultanate, economy, polity, religion, same with all these themes. But in such note making, you do miss certain peripheral topics like Bhakti and Sufi, which is something that goes constantly. So for that, I had made different notes for, especially for Bhakti Sufi. First of all, I used to read the PYQs of Bhakti Sufi, then prepare the notes, and then add some historiography or certain value addition to it. So again, these are low hanging fruits. Bhakti Sufi is something that will always come in the paper, and it is something that you have to prepare different notes for. Uh, Third problem is that regional kingdoms बहुत है medieval India में. Uh, Pallavas and Vijayanagar, Bahamani. So for that, the information is limited in the books or very scattered, to be really honest. So I used ChatGPT a lot, not for the information part, but for the structuring part at least, for the factual political part. That ChatGPT can really help you a lot. And again, the test papers ki solution. The fourth thing that comes is the political questions in medieval India. It is true that कुछ debatable questions होते हैं which are quite sensitive in the given era. So that political question needs you to have a very diplomatic, balanced stance. For example, in this year, I attempted the Aurangzeb question as well because I found it very interesting, and I just thought that I need to attempt this. And for that, I made sure that you give the comprehensive view of that era. जब भी कोई एक पर्सनालिटी पे टारगेटेड होके क्वेश्चन आता है, देयर इज एन हिडन डिमांड दैट यू give the other circumstances that were present around that personality and not just blame everything on one person. So for that, make sure that you understand why things happened, what were the other viewpoints that scholars are giving, and then give a conclusion that is neutral, objective, and something that is balanced. So I think that is the way to answer these questions. Fifth is interpretation based question. A lot of questions in medieval India have hidden demand. Again, I'll take one example that in this year, Fatwa-e Jahandari of Barni, that question came in 15 marker, I think. Again, it is not something that we cover conventionally. But I knew what was the demand of the question. I knew that they were asking how biased Barni was given the circumstances of that era. And I wrote that question, although it was 3 pager and I did not have that much content. But if you understand the demand of the question and write it simply, not even exaggerating or making multiple points, just writing the answer simply, I think that also rewards. So, understanding the demand of the question and then making simple points out of it for medieval India, especially for difficult questions. I think that helped.
Right.
Yes, sir. Just one last thing that in 10 markers, we have, especially in medieval India, 10 markers are quite difficult because we have less content, especially in this year, like there were questions on karkhanas and gunpowder. Again, we do not have much content about it, but these are 10 markers. We have to write 2 pages on it. So for that, make sure that you write peripheral knowledge if you don't have much knowledge on that topic. Give the larger background of the century. What was the implication of that technology or whatever? For example, gunpowder. If they're asking about it, then what was the background of it? What were its implication? Again, divide your answer in so many points that your content becomes enriching. Like even if you're writing 30 words on each subtopic, it will show the examiner that you know a lot of things. So again, if you don't have much content, use flowcharts, boxes, maps, and such things. So I think 10 markers me you can adopt this strategy.
But you have to
Lastly,
finish the full paper.
yes, you have to attempt from the starting to the end. Each and every paper you have to fill it fully. So for that, थोड़ा सा आगे पीछे जाना पड़ता है if you don't know the content. But again, lastly, I'll just say कि paper one is a very factual heavy paper. So I think उसमें revision बहुत important है. Otherwise, you do forget names, dates, or in general the historiography. So for that, again, as I showed, I made sticky notes for each and every topic, and I just stuck it in the front of my eyes so that I have to see it every day. Secondly, I made sure कि अगर मैंने टॉपिक पढ़ा है मैं उसको समराइज कर दूं वॉइस नोट में खुद से ही, और वो वॉइस नोट मैं रात को सुन लूं या कभी और वॉक करते करते सुन लूं. सो दैट वॉइस नोट्स ऑल्सो मेक्स श्योर कि आप रिविजन एज अ बर्डन ना लो, बट एज अ lenient fun activity ले लो. Then thirdly, there were topics, especially in world history, jo it is not easy to imagine world history. It is easy to imagine medieval and early India. So for that, I used to make sure कि मैं एक flatmate को सामने बिठा लेती थी, and I used to explain all the topics to her. And if you explain that topic to someone else, आपके subconscious mind में खुद चले जाता है. So make sure you do this, especially for very lengthy topics like Marathas or Rajputs. So try to explain the topic to somebody else. Fourthly, value addition is really important for early and medieval, paper one specifically. Everybody knows something about ancient India and medieval India. You have to stand out from them. And for that, make sure that you add certain interpretations that are not very conventional. For example, these were my notes of Bhakti and Sufi. And in Bhakti and Sufi, what was the role of women? If there's any question that comes on Bhakti and Sufi, I knew कि मैं women का aspect भी डालूंगी. So a little about women, also a little about historiography. So in just like 1/4 of the page, I had written all the historiographical opinions of the scholars on Bhakti and Sufi. So it's a very small note, but this is something that will fetch you marks. So this is something that I did again. And lastly, equal focus on all the topics. You cannot ignore religion, architecture, especially in early and medieval India. So make sure that I think Nikhil sir and Vishal sir will help you a lot in these topics. But I think don't ignore these topics. बहुत important है. And then lastly, history optional में it is not necessary to write very fast. It is necessary to think very fast. मैं I think this is something that I realized जब मेरे पेपर complete नहीं हो रहे थे. It is not because I write slowly. It is because I think slowly. अगर आप एक टॉपिक रिवाइज नहीं करते हो तो यू टेक अ लॉट ऑफ टाइम टू थिंक कि वो क्या था, वो क्या लिखा था, एंड इन दैट टाइम योर टाइम गेट्स वेस्ट. So make sure that you revise a lot, brainstorm a lot, and automatically आपका पेपर कंप्लीट होने लग जाएगा. So this was it for paper one. I think we can have questions.
Yeah. Before, I think Vishal sir, आप सवाल पूछने से पहले let me ask one question here. कि
Yes.
Deeksha, did you have any strategy like before you went to the exam hall? Did you have some notion कि कौन सा सेक्शन अटेम्प्ट करना है, पेपर वन का एंशिएंट इंडिया, मेडिवल इंडिया, या फिर यू आर ओपन टू दैट?
The 23 maybe or 25 maybe I had thought that I'll attempt ancient India. It is something which has relatively less syllabus as compared to medieval, and value addition bhi zyada tha ancient में. But again, 23 maybe or 25 maybe I attempted medieval. Ended up attending medieval क्योंकि एक question आ जाता था ancient में which I was not very sure of. So never have that idea that I will have to attempt only this section, because at the end of the day वो कहीं भी उठ बैठ सकता है. तो for me I be open ended, although आप हमेशा एक section अच्छे से prepare करोगे, but don't have that biasness according to me.
Right. Acha, Diksha, you were talking about value addition in the form of flow charts, maps, and diagrams and timelines, right? So, did you generate all of this extempore while in the examination hall, या फिर पहले से prepare करके रखा हुआ था आपने इसको?
सब पहले से कर रखा था. There was again like the notes that I had prepared. उसके side में ही if there is a timeline, a graph, a map. So I think वो पहले से prepare करना रहता है. Plus when you attempt the test papers, वो अच्छे से prepare हो जाता है and it comes out in.
करने की आदत हो जाती है. All right, all right. Now there are a few questions जो हमारे students ने raise किया है. I'll be relating them to you. ठीक है? One is Karthik is asking, in the mapping section, if one is uncertain or doubtful about a site, should we still take a guess and attempt it, or should we leave it?
attempt it. I think it is important to
अच्छा,
maybe
question. हाँ, one additional question here, then you can make your point. कि मैपिंग आपने शुरू में ही कर दिया था और did you save it at the end of the paper?
yes, sir. This is something that I changed. In 23, I first attempted in the mapping section और उसमें 40 मिनट लग गए मुझे, which costed me later on. So this time I made sure that half an hour at the end, I'll save it for mapping. So I gave it last half an hour.
And then you
So
accounted for time that way, हाँ, कि
yes,
2.5 घंटे में आपका बाकी सब हो जाए. अच्छा,
yes.
पेपर आपका पूरा हो गया था या थोड़ा बहुत रह गया था, और was there some question जो उतने अच्छे से नहीं कर पाए because of lack of time?
So as I said, क्योंकि mapping मैंने end में किया था, there were certain sites that I could have guessed at least, but I could not because of the lack of time. But these were, I think, 2 to 3 sites. Apart from that, I wrote everything.
अच्छा, then Tanishka is asking one more question related to mapping only, कि जो description होता है, how many points per map site, how to handle new novel questions in exams?
Coming to the pointers part, I think four points is enough. Give the district or the location. If there is any river or any important geographical location, mountain, अगर आप लिख सकते हो तो वो. Then second, coming to the actual information ki what are the tools found there, kya tha actually. Third, the miscellaneous information that it was on the trade route, or there is certain specific bone tool that is found in this region. And fourth, if you can connect it to the contemporary times. For example, if Rakhi Gari used to come, I used to write the current affair as well. Ki in this recently there was an excavation there.
Study हुआ है, right?
Yes, and non-conventional sites के लिए sir, I think it is non-conventional for everyone. So
Yeah,
you
कुछ नहीं कर सकते ज़्यादा उसमें.
uh, the effort that you put in mapping, वो reward बहुत कम होता है, especially for the new sites. So
Yes.
पहले foundation बना लो. If you have time left, then do try with current affairs and with the IGNU material.
नहीं, आपने अपने प्रेजेंटेशन में बताया भी था कि विद रिगार्ड्स टू द डिस्क्रिप्शन, कि जो पीवाईक्यू वाले साइट्स हैं उनके लिए तो स्पेसिफिक डिस्क्रिप्शन आप प्रिपेयर कर सकते हैं, बाकी के लिए
Yes.
जनरल ही रहते हैं यूजुअली.
Yes.
यस, राइट. फर्दर अनिल ने क्वेश्चन पूछा है, हाउ टू डू वैल्यू एडिशन ऑन बेसिस ऑफ करंट अफेयर्स. थोड़ा ओपन एंडेड क्वेश्चन है, बट अ फ्यू थॉट्स.
I'll take an example, sir. For example, ancient India में the recent book Golden Road by William Dalrymple. It's a very good book, and the arguments are really enriching. If you have to write anything about ancient India trade or maritime routes during ancient India, yeah, just to show how ancient India was really vibrant, you can use that book. That in the recently released book Golden Road, William Dalrymple has argued that this has happened. So utilize these current affairs in such a way that examiner knows that you have read, even if you're not read. I did not read it that time, but I used ChatGPT to generate the major arguments of that author or that book. So use the books, use the excavations that are going on. Recently, the script of Indus Valley is also a lot of in news. So try to incorporate the recent researches about that script. So it makes your paper very updated, lively, and something that is not very static.
Acha, then Karthik has one more question, that apart from tests, you must have written a number of PYQs. How do you check to ensure the quality is good enough, through faculty or by self? And if you are self-assessing, क्या parameters use करते हैं आप?
Yes. So in 2024, I used to make sure that I bring the answers to you, either Vishal sir or Nikhil sir. But in 2025, since I did not have much time, I could only discuss certain test papers with you. But apart from that, बाकी test papers मैंने खुद self analysis ही करे थे. You get the hang of it. You develop that aptitude कि क्या चाहिए था आंसर में and क्या नहीं है. And that comes with practice, I think. If not the teachers, then you do have certain criteria कि अगर आप as a examiner ये पढ़ो तो आपको मजा आएगा या नहीं. So I think self analysis
At
work.
certain point, वो जो क्योंकि इतने सारे questions आपने देख लिए होते हैं, it becomes sort of an extension of note making only. एक stage के बाद answer writing, right? Acha, then there are a lot of queries requesting you to share your maps or sorry your notes, especially your short notes if possible at some stage in the future. तो I don't know कि आपके पास organized format में है या नहीं है, but that is the
Not organized. Again, you can see this was just one page that I got from somewhere.
yeah.
Like, I will suggest everyone to make their own notes like this, because even if you have a printout of my notes, it will not sit in your mind. This was the fourth iteration of my notes, so it was the watered down version of a lot of content. And I
Yeah.
think when you water
डिस्टिल करके आता है. Yeah.
और जब आप वो खुद करते हो तो it is very useful for you. But I'll share it.
Okay, thank you. अच्छा,
Diksha, I have one generic question in between. थोड़ा सा off topic question है that you have done so micro notes and एकदम revisable notes handily to be used, but your background is in Delhi University
Yes.
history honors. Now the kind of we have lot of students who come from DU. A lot of them come from history honors background or history background. तो एक इनिशियल स्ट्रगल होता है अबाउट द आइडिया ऑफ हिस्ट्री दैट इज इन यूनिवर्सिटी वर्सेस आइडिया ऑफ हिस्ट्री दैट इज इन यूपीएससी. इन यूपीएससी आपके शॉर्ट नोट्स, चार नाम ऑफ हिस्टोरियंस, तीन आर्ग्यूमेंट्स, एक कंक्लूजन, एक डायग्राम, एक फिगर, बीइंग कंक्लूसिव, बीइंग इन वर्ड लिमिट, ये बहुत मैटर करता है. एंड यूनिवर्सिटी इज टोटली डिफरेंट इकोसिस्टम. सो व्हेन यू स्टार्टेड प्रिपेयरिंग, व्हाट काइंड ऑफ स्ट्रगल यू फेस्ड एंड हाउ यू ओवरकेम, उसका कुछ थोड़ा नैरेटिव बताओगे?
Yes, sir. Actually, it was a problem for me. Because in 23, when I wrote my mains, I think this was one of the greatest problem that I faced. क्योंकि बहुत bulky answers लिख रही थी मैं. And although the content was good, but it was not coming out. So I think I had to channelize my knowledge and content in a way that was actually useful. So for that, I saw a lot of toppers copies, a lot. And I understood कि first of all, you don't have time to write everything. Secondly, you have to make sure that examiner knows what you know. So for that, you have to make sure कि आप एक point का पहले एक sub point दे दो. Summarize that point in 3 words, write the sub point and then explain it. So when you write the important information first and then explain and give an example, at least the examiner knows कि आपको point तो पता था in the first 3 lines. So do that. And thoda sa you have to change the techniques, but I think when you write GS answers as well, वो आप आ जाते हो उस मोड पे where you have to write more points rather than more content. So I think GS answers helped a lot to convert my history background to actually history optional content.
So you have to be very precise and within word limit. It's
Very
it's not only about skill development of sort, it's also a mental struggle. ऐसे
yes.
कोई अंदर हुआ कि भाई ऐसे क्यों कर रहा है, this is not right, this that one was right.
हाँ सर, अभी भी मैंने एक जैसे औरंगजेब वाला क्वेश्चन था, I did not write many points. I wrote it in paragraphs only because it required me to explain things in a way that was narrative rather than in pointers. So ठीक है, मतलब it's not necessary that you have to write like this. In certain questions that it requires you to debate, you can write in paragraphs as well, small paragraphs.
Okay. ठीक है. Yes, विशाल.
हाँ, रिगार्डिंग हिस्टोरियोग्राफी 2-3 क्वेरीज आए हुए हैं कि बहुत सारा है एंड इट इज क्वाइट डिफिकल्ट टू रिमेम्बर, तो कोई स्पेसिफिक एडवाइस यहाँ पर?
सर वो तो करना पड़ेगा. मतलब I cannot give a shortcut in this. I know history optional is such a big elephant sitting on your shoulders always, क्योंकि बहुत lengthy है, plus is the historiography, but it is rewarding. मतलब when you एक मैं ट्रिक यूज कर दी थी, जैसे आरजी भंडारकर है, यूसुफ हुसैन है, तो आई यूज टू ट्रीट देम लाइक माय फ्रेंड्स नेम्स. So आप imagine that person as your friend, or imagine something that will help you connect those words with a person. So थोड़ी ये learning memory tricks बहुत सारी होती है. Use that and constantly revise करो, वो बैठ जाएगा दिमाग.
या बट मोर इम्पोर्टेंटली, जैसे आपने यहाँ पे दिखा रखा है, इलस्ट्रेट कर रखा है, पूरा का पूरा भक्ति का हिस्टोरियोग्राफी, मेडिवल भक्ति का हिस्टोरियोग्राफी आपने इन अ वेरी शॉर्ट स्पेस कंडेंस कर दिया. तो आई थिंक इस तरह का एक्सरसाइज काफी यूजफुल होता है उसके
हाँ.
मैनेज कर. राइट. अच्छा, देन देयर आर अ कपल ऑफ क्वेश्चंस कि कोई भी डिबेट वाला टॉपिक आ रहा है तो उसको इंट्रोड्यूस कैसे किया जाए, दैट्स वेयर पीपल फेस प्रॉब्लम।
सर आई थिंक इंट्रोडक्शन में ही बता दो कि व्हाट इज द एसेंस ऑफ द डिबेट. For example, 18th century है, so start with the notion that the colonial historians represented 18th century as a dark age, but in the recent times it has been refuted with number of new studies coming in. So you just give the idea कि ये basic idea है. I think the examiner will understand कि ठीक है, you understand the demand of the question, and then you go into the details after the introduction.
देन एक जेनरिक क्वेश्चन है कि आंसर राइटिंग स्टार्ट कैसे करें, तो इफ आईड लाइक टू रिफाइन इट कि किस स्टेज पे स्टार्ट करना चाहिए, एंड बिफोर डूइंग आंसर राइटिंग इज देयर सम स्टेज ऑफ प्रिपरेशन दैट यू शुड हैव ऑलरेडी अचीव्ड, या फिर शुड इट बी अ कार्डिनल पार्ट ऑफ योर प्रिपरेशन राइट फ्रॉम द वेरी बिगिनिंग?
So I think from the beginning, again, when you sit to make notes, you have the syllabus, PYQ, and the basic book or material in front of you. After you have done it, after 2 or 3 days, you need to attempt a test or a PYQ. You need to write it, because until and unless you won't write it, you won't retain it in your mind. There's a lot of content जो आप पढ़ लेते हो और आपको ऐसा लगता है याद हो गया, बट जब तक आप वो लिखो नहीं बुक बंद करके, you won't be able to remember it. So just after you've completed a topic, write it. हो सकता है perfect ना हो आंसर, हो सकता है कि टाइम पे भी नहीं लिखो आप आंसर, but you have to break that inertia and at least write an answer.
Right, right. I think that is very important, the point that you're making. अच्छा, then क्योंकि कई सारे लोग पहली बार हिस्ट्री ऑप्शनल को कंसिडर कर रहे हैं और दे हैव ऑलरेडी टेकन द प्लंज एंड चोजन हिस्ट्री ऑप्शनल, तो some guidance for them that at least they should not be repeating some of the mistakes that you may have repeated. These remember are people maybe from history background or without history background.
Yes. Again, I'll go back to the mistakes that I had done in 2023. First of all, not completing the paper. अभी नहीं होता है, मतलब प्रैक्टिस में भी पेपर टाइम पे कंप्लीट नहीं होता है, but slowly you have to make sure that you have this the you have to write average answers. एक अच्छा आंसर लिख के अगर आप बाकी आंसर छोड़ दो, that is the blunder that you can make. You have to write average or above average answers in every question. So first of all, this was a mistake that I committed in 2023. Second mistake that I committed was I had bulky notes again, which is why I could not revise it just in those 4 days. So because of that, even though I knew the topic, जैसे 1832 चार्टर एक्ट पे आया था 2023 में क्वेश्चन, I knew it, I had read so many times, but I could not remember the date of that, या कुछ तो ऐसा था जो I could not just remember that one bit. उससे कॉन्फिडेंस भी नीचे आ जाता है. So I think इसलिए ये शॉर्ट नोट्स मैंने इस साल बनाए, that I needed to revise everything in those 4 days. So वो 4 दिन बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, उसके लिए ही आप एक साल की मेहनत करते हो. So
Right.
that.
Right. So these two things, कि एक तो नोट्स को शॉर्टन करिए, एंड सेकेंडली कि मतलब टाइम पे पूरा करना है पेपर.
हाँ, पूरा लिखना है, भले एवरेज लिखो बट पूरा लिखो.
अच्छा अच्छा, 2014 2015 में एक इंस्टेंस हुआ कि भक्ति सूफी पे एक क्वेश्चन पहले जीएस में आया था एंड देन सेम क्वेश्चन फिर ऑप्शनल में आया, राइट? तो यहाँ पर शुड यू राइट आइडेंटिकल आंसर्स या फिर चेंज करना होगा यहाँ पर?
सर चेंज तो करना पड़ेगा, अदरवाइज यू विल सीम लाइक अ पर्सन हु हैज जस्ट रेड हिस्ट्री फॉर द सेक ऑफ इट. तो वैसे तो नहीं होना चाहिए. हिस्ट्री ऑप्शनल के लिए अगर भक्ति सूफी पूछ रहे हैं, तो अगेन एज आई हैव अगेन पॉइंटेड आउट कि उसमें एक डिफरेंट पर्सपेक्टिव ऐड करना पड़ेगा. मे बी अबाउट इकोनॉमी, मे बी अबाउट फेमिनिस्ट पर्सपेक्टिव, some historiography, and maybe certain value addition in the terms of books, author, या कैसे भक्ति and Sufi saints emerged in that political era, what were the contribution. कुछ तो एक डिफरेंट चीज करनी पड़ेगी, which is different.
अच्छा, इफ इट वाज द रिवर्स, मान लीजिए आपने हिस्ट्री ऑप्शनल प्रिपेयर, आप हिस्ट्री ऑप्शनल के स्टूडेंट हैं, एंड इफ यू वर टू एनकाउंटर अ क्वेश्चन विद अ रिलेटिवली सिमिलर लेवल ऑफ कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी इन जीएस, तो क्या उतना ही कॉम्प्लेक्स आंसर लिखना है या जीएस में उसको थोड़ा वाटर डाउन करना होगा?
मेलो डाउन करना पड़ेगा. आई विल टेक अनदर एग्जांपल. GS1 में इस बार चंडेला इस पे क्वेश्चन आया था. So art and architecture I had prepared in medieval India. I knew about the Khajuraho temples and everything. So I wrote it like a GS answer, did not write any scholars, author, या कोई interpretation on what is erotic art, क्योंकि वो सब हम करते हैं, but it is not for GS1. So I just wrote the names of the temples, drew the figure of the temples, and the major implication in the contemporary times of Chandelas. For that, वो अलग you have to shift your gaze according to the paper demand. GS1 में अलग, optional में अलग.
अच्छा, Vats has asked one more question कि बुद्धिज्म, जैनिज्म, उपनिषदिक थॉट ये ऑलमोस्ट हर दूसरे साल यूपीएससी पूछ लेता है, तो व्हाट इज द सोर्स दैट यू यूटिलाइज्ड एंड स्ट्रेटजी, मतलब व्हाट इज, आपने जैसे बात किया मेंटल पैलेस का, तो वहां पे व्हाट इज द मैट्रिक्स इन योर माइंड?
Buddhism, Jainism is a very high rewarding topic for GS1, essay, ethics, and optional as well. So, uske liye alag, again, 2 to 3 pager notes only for Buddhism, Jainism. Upanishadic thought is a little bit complex. You have to understand the philosophical background to it. So, I think I remember we discussed it in the class, and that helped a lot to understand ki, what was the background to it. So again, I think the teachers will be really helpful in making you understand the topics. And to imagine it, I think there's a YouTube link that I'll share with you, how to build a mind palace, Sherlock Holmes mind palace. So I think you need to imagine things on your own and visualize it. So maybe that will help.
अच्छा, वन वेरी पर्टिनेंट क्वेश्चन, वंस अगेन आई एम गोइंग टू मैपिंग, कि हर मतलब पिछले 3 साल 4 साल से यूपीएससी पॉलिटिकल मैप्स दे रहा था, इस साल अचानक से फिजिकल मैप दे दिया, तो वर यू फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल टेकन अबैक बाय इट और हैड यू ऑलरेडी प्रिपेयर्ड फॉर इट?
Sir, I was ready कि कुछ भी दे सकता है UPSC. So I was not taken aback, nor did I have time to worry क्योंकि last half an hour में कर रही थी मैं already. So I was not good with the grid making, but I think people can explore that. How to make grids and how to identify the states in which the sites are located. That at least. And उसके अलावा भी, since it's a physical map, there is an element of
थोड़ा सा lenient होंगे
as well कि they will understand कि ठीक है आसपास ही दी साइड, they can give marks to you. So that.
ठीक है. अच्छा, जीएस में जब हिस्ट्री के क्वेश्चंस आते हैं, तो डू यू इंट्रोड्यूस विद एनी हिस्टोरियंस नेम्स, या फिर हिस्टोरियंस नेम्स लिखते भी हैं या फिर बिल्कुल नहीं?
GS में सर no, I did not. मतलब I used to write books ठीक है, but not the historians. Example, विजयनगर का क्वेश्चन आता था, तो I used to write the Lost Empire books reference. So books ठीक है, I think, but not scholars.
तो ठीक है दीक्षा, थैंक यू. दीज आर मोस्ट ऑफ द क्वेश्चंस जो कि हमारे स्टूडेंट्स से आए हुए हैं. वी कैन कंटिन्यू विद आवर पेपर 2 वाला स्ट्रेटजी.
Then we'll start with the paper 2. We'll start with modern India. So again, sources used were quite limited. Shekhar Bandyopadhyay, Tacit Partition, Bipin Chandra, the two paths, struggle for independence and India since independence. B.L. Grover for quotes and selected opinions. So Bipin Chandra, I had read long time back in college. So I won't suggest कि आप एकदम cover to cover पढ़ो. But Shekhar Bandyopadhyay and B.L. Grover is something that will give you the value addition point. B.L. Grover के हर चैप्टर के एंड पे there was a section called selected opinions, and there were also quotes given on the starting of the chapter. And वहीं से कभी कभी यूपीएससी उठा लेता है quotes, and it just gives quotes without context. So I think BL Grover is important to brainstorm those quotes. So this was my I've attached a link of BL Grover's book, and I'll share the PPT as well. So these were the 3 sources that I used. Again, इसके अलावा भी टेस्ट पेपर्स के discussions and PYQs. These were the basic sources. Coming to answer writing part, the folder that you can see, Modern India, it had 1-pager notes of each and every topic of the syllabus. So again, the same strategy that I used in paper 1. And in answer writing, PYQ mapping, basic notes of all the topic. Then the value addition part. In the value addition part, modern India mein there's a lesser scope of maps and diagrams. बट स्टिल जहां भी मौका मिले ड्रॉ इट. जैसे मैंने ये आई थिंक रिवोल्यूशनरी एक्टिविटीज के एक आंसर में बना दिया था. सो एनी वे दैट यू गेट a scope to draw something या to represent anything, do that. Timeline भी बना सकते हो आप in a flow chart. So that and answer writing, a lot of answer writing in modern India. Modern India, I think modern India मेरे लिए तो सबसे difficult था क्योंकि it has a lot of things. Pre 1857 and post 1857. Pre 1857 के इतने सब topics हैं छोटे छोटे that come in 10 markers, that you have to read a lot. So for that again PYQs Bible है. जो भी PYQ में आ चुका है, at least you should have certain notes on it. So that and yes, this was one of the one pager that I have shared. This is utilitarianism. It's a very short topic in the syllabus. So मैंने एक पेज का ही नोट बनाया. पहले PYQs लिखे हैं उसमें कि what were the PYQs that has already come. तो पहले वो मैपिंग कर लिया. Then write about utilitarianism, उसके scholars. Then the different factors and different implications of utilitarianism, education में, administration में, justice में, all the things. Then the counter argument as well, उसके limitations क्या थे. Modern India is a subject where you will always have a counter argument or something that you can question. So हर note में भी, हर answer में, make sure that you add counter arguments. So this was one pager that I made. ऐसे ही almost हर topic के थे. So this was my basic strategy.
Nice.
Secondly, there are debate heavy questions. जैसे tribal movements का nature क्या था. Now these question again कोई एक source नहीं है इसको पढ़ने का, ना कोई एक book बताती है what is the debate. So it is something that you have to pick and collect from different sources. But after picking everything, एक जगह collect करना पड़ता है. This is a note that I made of tribal movements. तो पहले key points में debates लिख दो. What are the major debate का arguments and the historians? Again, very short. But अगर कोई भी tribal question आता है, even a factual question कि कोल के बारे में या रंगपुर के बारे में, after I've written the factual part, add the debatable question के opinions. That will give you an edge. Again, GS answer और optional answer को वो जो pink ink में लिखा है वही differ करेगा. So it is something that I did. Very short notes on significance, causes, and consequences for everything. Factors, what caused it, consequences, and something unique about it. So
And Diksha, this is the note that you prepared in your third or fourth iteration. It is not the first hand note.
no, not the first one.
So initial one was very bulky, and that you reduced and distilled further and further to reach this kind of clarity of thought.
Yes.
Okay.
This was specifically made for those 4 days. कि
Okay.
वो 4 दिन के लिए ही थे ये.
Mhm.
Then there are certain high yielding topics specifically in modern India. प्लासी एंड बक्सर पे आता ही है डायरेक्टली इनडायरेक्टली क्वेश्चन. मराठास, पंजाब, इकोनॉमिक इम्पैक्ट ऑफ ब्रिटिश रूल, जिसमें डी इंडस्ट्रियलाइजेशन, रेलवेज, ये सब है. गांधीयन मास मूवमेंट्स और पोस्ट इंडिपेंडेंस, ये टॉपिक्स हैं जो यू कैन नॉट अफोर्ड टू लूज क्योंकि वो आएंगे ही इन एनी और अदर वे. सो ये हाई यील्डिंग टॉपिक्स के मैंने स्पेसिफिकली वैल्यू एडिशन पॉइंट्स प्रिपेयर करे थे. For example, Gandhian mass movement, I remember we, in our crash course as well, we had given one full class to Gandhian mass movements and what are the different perspectives of historians. तो उनको एक जगह summarize किया था. And these are just some screenshots of my answer copies. So Mahatma Gandhi, there was a certain question about him, but the historian's name and what are their perspectives on it. पोस्ट इंडिपेंडेंस के लिए भी वैल्यू एडिशन था अबाउट वीपी मेनन, द बुक्स दैट आर रिटन अबाउट पोस्ट इंडिपेंडेंस. सो दीज हाई यील्डिंग टॉपिक्स के लिए कुछ एक एडिशनल होना ही चाहिए. यू कैन यूज चैट जीपीटी फॉर इट, यू कैन यूज नोट्स एंड लेवल अप नोट्स. आई थिंक दैट विल बी इनफ, बट डू नॉट इग्नोर दिस टॉपिक. गांधी जी आएंगे ही आएंगे पेपर में, तो यू हैव टू बी प्रिपेयर्ड विद इट. Again, one also, modern India में there is one trick also कि अगर 5-6 साल से नहीं आया है एक क्वेश्चन, the probability of it repeating increases. So there is one, although it is not recommendable, but मैं देखती थी कि कौन सा क्वेश्चन कब आया था और व्हाट आर द चांसेस ऑफ रिपीटिंग इट दिस ईयर. तो अगर चांसेस ज्यादा थे तो उस पर फोकस में ज्यादा करती थी. रेलवेज के चांसेस ज्यादा थे इस बार, ऑल्दो आया नहीं, बट इसलिए मैंने रेलवेज और अच्छे से किया था. इट्स अ गैम्बल दैट यू डू. इट्स नॉट ऑलवेज रिवॉर्डिंग, बट येस, इट्स समथिंग दैट यू कैन कंसिडर.
इस बार आ जाएगा.
हाँ सर, बहुत टाइम से नहीं आया है, कभी तो आएगा ही. तो यस, एंड मॉडर्न इंडिया में 10 मार्कर्स काफी इम्पोर्टेंट है, क्योंकि उसमें वी इग्नोर द पार्ट ऑफ क्रिटिकल एनालिसिस. इसमें स्टार्टिंग में ही लिखा रहता है कि क्रिटिकली एनालाइज दीज क्वेश्चंस, and we do not give the counter arguments in that. So make sure that in modern India and in world, every time आपका थोड़ा सा पेज एंटी थीसिस या काउंटर आर्गुमेंट या सम डिफरेंट पर्सपेक्टिव में होना चाहिए, so that you don't seem biased. This was the antithesis that I wrote in one of the answers regarding, I think, reform movement पे था. So antithesis in each and every question. Secondly, broad outlines of timeline question. मॉडर्न इंडिया में देर इज अ पॉसिबिलिटी कि वो एक बहुत ब्रॉड एंड क्वेश्चन पूछ लें, जैसे वुमेन्स रोल इन इंडिपेंडेंस मूवमेंट और द रोल ऑफ ट्राइबल मूवमेंट्स और कास्ट का बैकग्राउंड. सो दीज आर क्वेश्चंस दैट रिक्वायर टू एनालाइज फ्रॉम द बिगिनिंग, फ्रॉम 18-19 सेंचुरी से लेकर पूरा 20-21st सेंचुरी तक. सो फॉर दैट मेक श्योर दैट आप दिमाग में टेम्पलेट्स रेडी हैं कि इस एरा में क्या था रोल, इस एरा में क्या हो गया, एंड हाउ स्लोली इट ग्रेजुअली चेंज इट्स नेचर, एंड एट द एंड हाउ वाज इट. सो ये ब्रॉड टाइमलाइन क्वेश्चंस के लिए भी वन पेजर नोट्स स्टार्टिंग टिल द एंड. एंड PYQs as a fodder point. This is something that I did in modern India, क्योंकि बहुत सारे कोड बेस्ड क्वेश्चन होते हैं मॉडर्न इंडिया में. उन्हीं कोड्स को उठा के नए क्वेश्चन में चिपका दो. मतलब जैसे आई हैव गिवन वन एग्जांपल हियर एज वेल. यहाँ पे India broke its fetters with Western Hammer. It is already one PYQ that came. I don't remember the year, but use that PYQ even in the answers that you are writing for different questions. So that just that at least it will provide you a fodder point या कुछ एक अच्छा लगेगा किसी एग्जामिनर को पढ़ने में. So that is something for modern India. Again, modern India के लिए, as sir also tells, there's a broad understanding that is required for modern India. How mercantile capitalism, say industrial capitalism, say financial capitalism. So there's a evident shift in the policies of the Britishers and how Indians reacted to it. And it constantly changes from phase to phase. So have a broader understanding कि उस era में चल क्या रहा था. So that will help you to introduce the topic. And again, फैक्टर्स में मैंने टेम्पलेट्स बना रखे थे मॉडर्न इंडिया स्पेसिफिकली. इफ दे आर आस्किंग व्हाट आर द कॉजेस ऑफ सम इवेंट, देन आई वाज रेडी विद द टेम्पलेट कि इकोनॉमिक लिखना है, पॉलिटिकल, सोशल, कल्चरल. एंड इवन दो आई कैन नॉट रिमेम्बर प्रॉपरली कि सोशल कल्चरल क्या था, भले ही एक पॉइंट हो, बट आई यूज्ड टू गिव द हेडिंग सोशल कल्चरल या पॉलिटिकल. So make sure that you write these subheadings in questions like these. Again, books and arguments बहुत यूज करे थे, especially for colonial India वाला part, जैसे गौरी विश्वनाथ का Mask of Conquest. So this is something that we discussed a lot in classes. How to utilize historians, their arguments and books. So that enriches your answer again. पोस्ट इंडिपेंडेंस इज समथिंग दैट इज रियली इम्पोर्टेंट. हर बार यूपीएससी कर रहा है कि एक सी वाला क्वेश्चन वो पोस्ट इंडिपेंडेंस से दे देता है, सो दैट you cannot let go post independence. So again, one pager notes for post independent topic, but I use ChatGPT for value addition. Post independence as a topic है where you don't have to read a lot of books, but you need to read specific parts of certain topics. So for that, ChatGPT and already prepared templates and maps. For example, ये Indo-China का था, I had written the background, क्या PYQs थे उसके बारे में, high note क्या था, bitter क्या गया, what were the circumstances 1962 में, then ended with a quote or a opinion of महात्मा गांधी या किसी का भी एक opinion लिख दो वहां पे historiographically. So I think this summarizes the whole topic and make sure कि आपका वो आंसर IR का नहीं लग रहा है, हिस्ट्री का लगेगा, स्पेशली इन इंडिया चाइना, इंडिया पाकिस्तान, वो जियो पॉलिटिकल उसमें नहीं जाना है, हिस्टोरिकल बैकग्राउंड में जाना है. सो नोट्स भी वैसे ही बनाने हैं. दिस इज अ आंसर कॉपी ऑफ आई थिंक दलित मूवमेंट्स वाले क्वेश्चन के. सो post independence I used to deliberately attempt answers of post independence in the tests क्योंकि उससे प्रैक्टिस आ जाएगी. So even though you are preparing, even though अगर आप एक mock paper दे रहे हो of paper 2, after you have written for 3 hours, again sit and write all the answers of the questions that you had not attempted. So this will give you a lot of practice क्योंकि मॉक पेपर्स में भी वी लीव पोस्ट इंडिपेंडेंस की इसको अटेम्प्ट नहीं करते हैं, जो मुझे अच्छे से पता है वो अटेम्प्ट करते हैं. तो ऐसा नहीं है. आई यूज टू राइट विथ पेंसिल आफ्टर आई अटेम्प्टेड द 3 hours वाला क्वेश्चन. पेंसिल से दूसरे पेपर्स दूसरे क्वेश्चन भी अटेम्प्ट करो. सो दिस वाज वन थिंग. कैन आई शिफ्ट टू वर्ल्ड हिस्ट्री और एनी क्वेश्चन रिगार्डिंग मॉडर्न इंडिया?
नहीं, we'll take the questions at the very end.
ठीक है. For world history, first I'll come to the sources. So the spelling is wrong, but Ranji, I think the spelling is wrong. Yeah, but the book was especially important for French Revolution and American Revolution. World history is such a vast subject कि there is no one book to it. Again, I had referred to my college notes and level up material. Level up के बहुत शॉर्ट नोट्स हैं on each and every topic, decolonization, colonization, UN, EU. So these are very helpful and handy. And Norman Louis, for the later half, again, वो जो after the World War वाला section है, that is good in Norman Louis. And I extensively used YouTube and documentaries. Again, as I said, I have a very visual memory, not a very factual one. So जितना मैं देखती थी उतना याद होता था. So नेपोलियन पे, साइमन बोलीवार, पर्सनालिटीज लाइक दीज जिन पे क्वेश्चन उठ के आता ही है. सो इफ यू हैव फ्री टाइम, डू वॉच डॉक्यूमेंट्रीज और यूट्यूब वीडियोज ऑन देम सो दैट आपको एक इमेजिनेशन में आ जाएगा कि व्हाट वर द कंट्रीब्यूशन. And of course, Nikhil sir has also posted the whole playlist on YouTube. Again, PYQ based note making of world history. Already 90% क्वेश्चन पेपर PYQ से आता है. It's only 10% that they give unconventional or something unique. So 90% तो PYQ से ही हो जाता है. So these were my broad sources. Coming to the value addition part, world history is something that I knew अगर मैं attempt करूंगी तो मुझे marks ज़्यादा आएंगे क्योंकि normally people don't go very extensively in world history. So I did give a lot of time in value addition. So like world map or European map, making timelines, especially regarding the Napoleon questions या French Revolution के questions जो आने ही हैं, that it is bound to repeat. So for that, I made certain timelines as well कि अगर कुछ भी question आता है तो I'll make this timeline. Then I used a lot of quotes again, which is not conventionally in the notebooks, but yes, somewhere I read about it. So Victor Hugo ka quote, yeah, any quote that you have read which you think will be apt for that era, so use that quote as well. So these were certain.
One question. So you have practiced map of India, map of European continent, and map of Australia.
Yes.
What all maps you had practiced apart from these three? Like, did you also practice African map, American map, or something like that?
American, just to represent the battles of American Revolution and Civil War, just to represent those battles because it happened on the coastline. Again, for Scramble of Africa, representing broadly how colonization happened and which area was under which country. So for Africa as well, for Italy as well, in the unification part, you have to draw that map, the heel, the heel part. So Italy as well, Germany we kara tha. It's a bit complicated, but if you have time and if you like world history and you want to attempt world history, make sure that you do draw certain maps, although भले ही वो neat ना हो, भले ही वो इतने detailed ना हो, but a broad understanding of the geography. Again, the strategy for world history was very simple. Again, syllabus mapping, just like we did for ancient medieval. Each topic के causes, consequences, example and significance. It was पेटेंट, मतलब जैसे वर्ल्ड वॉर के अपन कॉजेस कॉन्सिक्वेंसेस एग्जांपल करते हैं, सिग्निफिकेंस करते हैं, ऐसे ही हर टॉपिक के भले ही वो 1832 के रिवोल्ट हो, 1848, एनीथिंग, द कॉजेस कॉन्सिक्वेंसेस. एंड हमेशा यूपीएससी में कॉजेस का एक फैक्टर पकड़ के आ जाएगा या कॉन्सिक्वेंसेस का एक फैक्टर पकड़ के आ जाएगा. सो फॉर एग्जांपल आई टेक वन एग्जाम. इसी साल this question came on World War One, the C question. The First World War did not produce just political consequences, it also had deep impact on the way of thinking. So it is asking about two consequences, political and ideological. So notes may very segregated causes and consequences अगर होंगे, then you will remember कि कहाँ से क्या लिखना है. So these were my notes, and यहाँ पे socio cultural consequences of World War One लिखे थे. It is something that we discussed in the class as well. So उसी के I think 7-8 पॉइंट थे, एंड पूरा कॉपी पेस्ट. सो इट सेव्स योर टाइम, इट सेव्स योर time to think एक एक specific factors. If you already have notes which are segregated section wise, it becomes very easy. So making sure that you make notes in such a way. Then selecting the question becomes very important. It is a mistake that I did in 2023. I chose a question जिसमें मुझे 20 मार्कर तो आता था, बट उसके बाद का 15 मार्कर्स मुझे उतने अच्छे से नहीं आते थे. तो डोंट डू दिस कि अगर आपको एक बहुत अच्छे से आता है, देन यू हैव टू अटेम्प्ट द होल 3 set of questions. You have to know average knowledge about every question that you're going to attempt. And again, for that you do not have to ignore the small topics that comes in the end of world history, just UN, Africa, Latin America, EU. You cannot afford to not know these topics, क्योंकि in the coming times UPSC will only get smarter than you, and it will ask questions that you haven't prepared. So make sure that इनके बारे में at least half page information तो हो ही आपके पास. Then again, ready-made templates, as I already said. For example, enlightenment. It is bound to repeat. हमेशा first question enlightenment से आता है या French Revolution से आता है. अगर enlightenment से आता है, then I had made sure कि मेरा introduction ready होगा. In the introduction, I will write the definition of enlightenment that Immanuel Kant has given. So I had already prepared. मेरे को बस paper आना था and I had to start writing. I did not have to give time to think कि इसका introduction क्या लिख सकते हैं. Already prepared the introduction and conclusions for world history and modern India because you have the scope to do it. Again, the third part is ChatGPT for notes and historiography. क्योंकि world history is a topic that is relatively largely available online, और आप कर सकते हो. Although I won't recommend कि आप factually believe करो जो भी वो बोल रहा है, but at least for the structure, do refer to make sure कि आप summarize कर सकते हो सारे arguments. Again, world history में भी you have to give certain unique perspective, otherwise वो GS का आंसर लगता है. So in that value addition, make sure that you feminist perspective दे दो, ecological perspective, and it is something that in level up we do it very well कि we cover all the parts of it. So in World War One as well, ecological perspective के consequences क्या थे? Not many people write about it, but if you do get an edge. Then fifth is again timeline and brainstorm. जितना मैंने brainstorm किया है वर्ल्ड हिस्ट्री, शायद उतना किसी और टॉपिक को नहीं किया होगा, बिकॉज वर्ल्ड हिस्ट्री इज समथिंग दैट यू हैव टू इमेजिन. एंड इसलिए मैं ज्यादा लिखी नहीं मैं टेस्ट वर्ल्ड हिस्ट्री के, बट आई थिंक ब्रेनस्टॉर्म इतना कर लिया था हर टॉपिक को कि अगर ये आएगा तो मैं क्या क्या पॉइंट्स लिखूंगी. सो जस्ट सिट विथ द क्वेश्चन फॉर 2 minutes एंड ब्रेनस्टॉर्म एवरीथिंग एंड देन चेक द आंसर कि आइडियली क्या होना चाहिए था एंड व्हाट यू मिस्ड. So I think brainstorming helped a lot. Again, current affair, used a lot of current affair in introduction and conclusion, especially in the topics like Cold War, UN, and EU, which is also something that is happening right now. History is continuing, and history is never over. So also write these new perspectives about UN, Cold War. So that will make the answer interesting, I think. Um, this is just an example of what I just said.
If I can ask one question here, that in the world history answers, you can come to the present times and give some current affair context.
Yes.
Similarly, what is the scope of connecting different parts of history from modern India to world history to ancient India? Maybe is it possible that we give some parallels, and will it be appreciated?
Yes, sir. I think we can. जैसे I think डेक्कन राइट्स के टाइम पे अमेरिकन रेवोल्यूशन चल रहा था. सो यू कैन कनेक्ट. अमेरिकन सिविल वॉर चल रहा था. सो यू कैन कनेक्ट इट वेरी वेल. सो अगर आप डेक्कन उस पर लिख रहे हो, सो यू कैन गिव द पर्सपेक्टिव ऑफ international events that were happening. So it shows कि आप basic broad understanding है. Even in modern India, if you're writing about any movement, then what was the role of Russian revolutionaries, right? Irish revolutionary, their influence on Indian movement. So after a point, you break the silos of your studies, and it comes after practice, but you do break the silos. So this was just an example of how I incorporated specifically feminist perspective of it. I think this was French Revolution, and the causes. I think this is World War. I don't know, but the causes should be geographical, technical, political, humanism, economic, very segregated subtopics of causes. This is the historiography of World War One. Again, बहुत जगह से सोर्स से कलेक्टेड है, बट ऑन वन पेज एक जगह होना चाहिए कि अगर एक फैक्टर पे भी आया, देन यू विल हैव अ स्कॉलर टू कोट. सो द हिस्टोरियोग्राफी एट वन पेज वेरी. ये तो मेरे आई थिंक मेन नोट्स थे. इसको भी मैंने और समराइज कर दिया था एट द एंड. So this was it. I think we'll take the question.
So I
I
will
think
ask one question directly here first about this. Can you go to previous slide, please? So here I see a lot of historians name in world history also. But there is a common feeling among students that historiography is required in a deeper way in modern India, but not as deep in case of world history. Did you follow the same approach, or you had done equal amount of historical research for world history also?
so world estimate depends on the topic. If the topic is World War, then you need to add certain historiography, क्योंकि फिर वो GS का आंसर ही दिखेगा नहीं तो. If the topic is Cold War, the historiography is relatively less. एक दो ही scholars हैं, but yes, I think if you have time, you can really add it. Modern history से comparatively कम होगा, but topic wise होगा ही. I think Hitler के question में जैसे we had done a lot of historians, क्योंकि different multiple views है, conservatives का अलग है and सब. So there's this thing that you also told. You don't have to write the name of the historian if you don't remember it. You can also write that Marxist historians or conservative historians, or just label the bracket in which they are coming and write. So maybe that will help in world history specifically.
ओके. अच्छा, इसी से रिलेटेड एक और चीज था दैट जैसे कि रेवोल्यूशंस हो गए, वर्ल्ड वॉर्स हो गए, यहाँ पे तो हिस्टोरियोग्राफी का स्कोप होता है, लेकिन जो थोड़े साइडलाइन वाले टॉपिक्स होते हैं, फॉर एग्जांपल डेवलपमेंट्स इन साउथ ईस्ट एशिया या लैटिन अमेरिका या अफ्रीका, डीकोलोनाइजेशन, यहाँ पे क्या उतना ही स्कोप होता है हिस्टोरियोग्राफी का या फिर उतना नहीं होता है?
नहीं होता सर. आई थिंक मैंने भी नहीं किया था साउथ ईस्ट एशिया डीकोलोनाइजेशन. एक दो स्कॉलर्स रहते हैं विच यू कैन कोट. अफ्रीका में जैसे मैंने दो तीन एक आई थिंक दो स्कॉलर्स रखे थे फॉर अफ्रीका स्पेसिफिकली, बट फॉर साउथ ईस्ट एशिया आई न्यू कि I won't be able to remember nor write. तो for those factual question ठीक है, इतना effort नहीं डालना है, because these are topics that you which are very low rewarding, शायद आए या नहीं आए. For the topics that are bound to repeat या बहुत स्कोप है आने का वापस, then you can do this historiography part.
अच्छा, वन पेन पॉइंट इज कि जैसे फ्रेंच कॉलोनाइजेशन हो गया या पोर्चुगीज कॉलोनाइजेशन हो गया या डीकॉलोनाइजेशन हो गया, व्हेन यू स्टार्ट मूविंग अवे फ्रॉम द एंग्लो पर्सपेक्टिव, तो वहां पे द इंफॉर्मेशन इज वेरी वास्ट, लेकिन हमको पता नहीं है कि कहाँ से कलेक्ट करना है, एंड यूपीएससी हैज रेगुलरली बीन आस्किंग क्वेश्चंस फ्रॉम हियर. तो हाउ डिड यू मैनेज दिस?
तो अब पता नहीं कहाँ से लाई थी मैं, बट अगेन अब तो मुझे भी याद नहीं आ रहा कि मैंने नोट्स कहाँ से
जैसे
बनाए थे,
इस साल
बिकॉज
भी बहुत बाउंसर सा क्वेश्चन आया हुआ था रिगार्डिंग वियतनाम एंड एजुकेटेड मिडिल क्लास उनका रोल, तो पीपल वर स्टम्प्ड बाय इट. आपका क्या रिएक्शन था, मतलब डिड यू अटेम्प्ट दैट क्वेश्चन या फिर छोड़ दिया उसको?
नहीं किया था मैंने. अगेन कुछ टॉपिक्स पता है मुझे जो मुझे नहीं आते अच्छे से, सो मेक श्योर दैट यू नो बेसिक आइडिया ऑफ इट कि क्या हुआ था वियतनाम में, हु वर द लीडर्स, एंड अगर क्वेश्चन आ भी जाए तो एटलीस्ट यू आर एबल टू फिल द पेजेस इवन इफ द क्वालिटी इतनी अच्छी नहीं है तो भी. आई थिंक दिस इज अ ट्रेड दैट यू कैन डू, क्योंकि बाकी टॉपिक्स और ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट होते हैं. सो एवरेज इन दोज टॉपिक्स दैट आर वेरी अनकन्वेंशनल, but above average and very good in topics that are bound to repeat. This was my.
ओके. अच्छा, कमिंग टू मॉडर्न इंडिया, वंस अगेन, जैसे इस साल रंजीत सिंह के एम्पायर पे क्वेश्चन आया था, कंपैरिजन विद नेपोलियन. इसके पहले आसजाही डायनेस्टी के ऊपर क्वेश्चन आया था. तो ये जो 18th सेंचुरी के रीजनल किंगडम्स हैं, इनके लिए क्या कोई स्पेसिफिक अप्रोच अडॉप्ट करना चाहिए या फिर जो स्टैंडर्ड मटेरियल है वहां से ही?
Sir, I think PYQs पहले तो PYQs से just understand कि in what depth UPSC is going and understand कि और कहाँ पूछ सकती है UPSC. So first तो PYQ, then basic notes if you are I think जेल मेहता में भी है और other books, एक basic notes बना लो. And then thirdly it comes to discussions. I think crash course में जो भी हमने discussion कर रहे थे about the regional kingdom and on the arrival of Europeans as well, they were quite extensive, and these discussions help you in tackling all the questions possible. So these.
देन दिस इज समथिंग दैट यू मेंशन्ड आल्सो कि जितने भी कॉलोनियल रेगुलेशंस आए हैं, एक्ट्स आए हैं, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल रिफॉर्म्स आए हैं, राइट फ्रॉम 1773 टू 1947, आपको शायद लास्ट टाइम थोड़ा मुश्किल हुआ था इन रिकॉलिंग मेनी ऑफ दीज थिंग्स, राइट? तो इस बार क्या चेंज किया? हाउ डिड यू मेमोराइज एंड रिकॉल?
यस सर, एक्ट्स तो एक्चुअली झील है मेरी, तो बिल्कुल याद नहीं होते थे मुझे, बट अगेन उसके इतने नोट्स बना लिए थे मैंने, अगेन 1 पेजर्स. बट आई थिंक जेएल मेहता में है काफी एक्सटेंसिवली अबाउट द एक्ट्स. एक्ट्स बाकी बुक्स में उतने अच्छे से कवर्ड नहीं है स्पेसिफिकली, सो ईदर दैट और लेवल अप नोट्स, रेफर टू दीज टू एंड मेक श्योर दैट यू नो द बैकग्राउंड कि वो एक्ट आया क्यों था, उस एक्ट के 2-3 प्रोविजन जो आप प्रीलिम्स में भी करोगे ही, एंड उस एक्ट के इम्प्लीकेशन और उस एक्ट के बारे में लोगों ने क्या बोला था. सो फॉर एग्जाम्पल अगर 1919 के बारे में महात्मा गांधी ने कुछ कमेंट किया था उस एक्ट के बारे में, और जवाहरलाल नेहरू ने बोला था, या मोहम्मद अली जिन्ना ने, तो बस ये 4 चीजें होनी चाहिए फॉर एनी नोट्स दैट यू मेक आउट ऑफ द एक्ट्स.
आई थिंक दिस इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट कि सबसे पहले तो आपको उसका कॉन्टेक्स्ट पता होना चाहिए, क्यों है, सर्कमस्टांसेस, बैकग्राउंड. सेकेंडली कुछ इंपॉर्टेंट प्रोविजन्स. थर्डली उसके कॉन्सिक्वेंसेस, एंड लास्टली इंटरप्रिटेशंस. तो दिस इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. आई थिंक ये फ्रेमवर्क काफी यूजफुल रहेगा. देन एक जनरल टाइप का क्वेश्चन है, नम्रता इज आस्किंग, what are the different ways of writing an introduction apart from definition? Although ये आंसर राइटिंग से ज़्यादा रिलेटेड है, बट फिर भी एक तरह का कोई अप्रोच तो नहीं हो सकता ना आंसर्स में, इंट्रोडक्शन में. तो डिड यू हैव एनी टेम्पलेट्स इन माइंड कि इस तरह का क्वेश्चन आएगा, ये वाला टेलवर्ड होगा तो मैं इस नोट पे स्टार्ट करूंगी, या फिर कोई मतलब एक्सटेम्पोर राइटिंग का आपने कोई स्किल डेवलप किया, कैसे मतलब?
सर आई थिंक 5 से 6 टेम्पलेट रेडी थे फॉर इंट्रोडक्शंस, स्पेशली मॉडर्न इंडिया. So sometimes I used to start with a quote or with a already done PYQ, as I already said. Sometimes it was all just giving a basic introduction ki, about the timeline. In this year, this happened. Sometimes it is about giving the background of that event, that in the context of 18th century, where political decentralization was already happening, and then introduce the question. So that, and fourth is historiography as well. Sometimes I used to start with a historian, or their arguments, sometimes with a book, the main argument of the book, like Golden Road. And like these were 5 to 6 templates that I had already made. In 2023, I made the introductions very boring and generic. एक ही एक जैसे लिख रही थी. You have to do something different. If अगर आपने 2-3 introduction बहुत plain लिख दिए हैं, तो अपने आप आपको realize हो जाना चाहिए कि third introduction you do something different. So examiner doesn't get bored. This is the first thing that they'll read.
This is something that you have already touched upon it. लेकिन मेरे मन में भी एक query था कि how concerned were you with avoiding any type of monotony in the tone that you take in the introduction? कि मान लो 3 questions है debate के ऊपर ही हैं, लेकिन एक में आपने बोला कि मार्क्सिस्ट हिस्टोरियंस ये बोल रहे हैं but this perspective has changed. तो क्या दूसरे में भी आप similar tack use करोगे या फिर will you change strategy over there? ये awareness नहीं चल रहे थे आप मन में?
So sometimes I used to do something unconventional as well. For example, in ancient India, if there is something about the sources, अगर कोई question sources पे है, so I can write that. I can write generic thing about some history as well. So as E.H. Carr has said, history is not static, but it is a daily constant conversation between the past and the present.
तो
And
आपने
in
मतलब
this
question को भी expand कर दिया वहां पर.
Yes, उसी को define the scope of history itself and how difficult it is to pinpoint one thing. So maybe utilize history and its cost as well. E.H. Carr के या कुछ और history related something you can give introduction about that.
Here I think कि जो आप बोल रहे हो ना बार-बार कि brainstorming किया हुआ है, answer writing किया हुआ है, templates use किए हुए हैं, I think that becomes very useful over here. You already have those ideas in your mind, बस उसको वहां पे ला करके plant करना है.
Yes.
अच्छा, there's one question Kush is asking कि first attempter के लिए history optional को with extensive coverage, revision and answer writing cover करने में कितना time लगेगा?
I think वो तो pre से पहले ही करना पड़ेगा. थोड़ा सा basic notes तो pre से पहले ही prepare हो जाना चाहिए. Value addition can happen in those 2.5 months as well, but basic you need to do before prelims. And answer writing, I suggest that you do it before prelims, at least the sectional tests. Full length आप बाद में भी लिख सकते.
अच्छा, what was the role that daily answer writing played in your attempt, in your preparation?
It did, sir, क्योंकि 24 में मेरा prelims नहीं हुआ था. I had a lot of time. So I made sure कि हर रोज PYQs तो लिख ही रही हूँ मैं for history. So at the end I had this much big pile of only history writing. और वो बस PYQs थे और test papers थे. So every day writing and analyzing. That is important, and that is something that you also suggested कि in those 2.5 months as well, make sure that you write at least 4 to 5 questions every day. Although tests मैंने 9-10 attempt करे थे, but answer writing मैंने हर रोज करी थी in 4 to 5 questions.
Good.
Deeksha, if I remember correctly, in 24, when you could not clear prelims, even then you persisted throughout the test series and did all the tests or something like, है ना? I remember you sitting in the
Yes.
class so at that time कि prelims
Yes, sir.
UPSC clear तो करनी है.
हाँ सर, उस टाइम मैं मेंस नहीं दे रही थी, बट आई वाज विद द माइंडसेट कि अगले साल तो देनी है. तो आई वाज अटेंडिंग ऑल द क्लासेस एंड आई डिड अटेम्प्ट ऑल द टेस्ट्स. एंड आई रिमेम्बर एक दिन आप रात तक हम 9-9:30 तक बैठे थे इन अ क्रैश कोर्स क्लास. इट वाज फन. आई थिंक वो मेहनत काम आती है कभी कभी.
विशाल सर.
हाँ, स्टूडेंट का ही क्वेश्चन है. While writing the answers for debate-based questions, how liberal can one be in interpreting their own thoughts and ideas other than general pointers from various historians? तो क्या अपना दिमाग भी उसमें चलाना होता है?
It is interesting. मतलब I think if your perspective is not very radical and it is academic and is something that is opening a new front of thinking, then you can do it. But if it is something very radical and very out of the box, then the examiner might not be able to understand it. So again, I know from a history background, you are inclined towards giving these kind of perspective. So you can do it. I think एक differentiating factor आता है. But again, moderate it in a way that doesn't seem very out of the box. कि वो examiner को ही समझना है, बस वैसा नहीं होना चाहिए.
Okay, okay. Then between pre and mains, there are a couple of queries. First of all, how did you divide your time between optional and GS preparation? Secondly, GS, optional के कितने tests लिखे हैं आपने? And thirdly, there is one specific query कोई student ने पूछा हुआ है कि अभी तक उसने जो भी optional में mocks लिखे हैं, he has not been doing very well, but he's sure of clearing the prelims. So after the prelims, what changes should he make, or how much should he focus on test writing या फिर refining content, how to manage his anxiety, etc. These three things if you can, मतलब पहले आपका बता दीजिए फिर उसके बाद. हाँ.
ठीक है. In those 2.5 या 3 months, sir, पहले तो I used to give 15 days to each ancient, medieval, modern world. In 15 days, I used to revise everything and write 2 sectional tests in those 15 days. Then shift to medieval, and then after ancient medieval, give full length test of paper 1, at least 2. So you're done and dusted with paper 1 at least. Similarly, then 15 days for modern and world, around 4 sectional and 2 full length. After
मतलब
you've done this,
total of
yes.
12 tests, मतलब 2 महीने के अंदर ही आपने 12 टेस्ट लिख दी.
हाँ, 12 टेस्ट तो हो ही जाना चाहिए. Then you come to the first revision. Again, history optional इतना बल्कि होता है कि उसके 3 रिविजन हो जाए तो ही बहुत बहुत है. So then coming to the second revision, where you give at least 5 to 7 days for each paper, और उस पेपर को पूरा अच्छे से रिवाइज करके again give FLT, then again 7 days, then again FLT for the second paper. So
मतलब 15
after
टेस्ट.
that, हाँ.
एंड देन अगर थर्ड रिपीट किया तो फिर उसके बाद फिर से
yes.
टेस्ट.
हाँ, थर्ड इटरेशन करना है तो करो, अदरवाइज उसी में 2 फुल लेंथ दे दो. I think full length you will not be able to appear for a lot of full length before GS. तो मैं GS के 5 दिन पहले हिस्ट्री ऑप्शनल छोड़ देती थी. So again timeline वैसी सेट करनी पड़ेगी. But after GS has been done, तो वो जो 4-5 दिन बचते हैं उसमें you look at your previous answers. बहुत important होता है कि आपने पहले क्या लिखा हुआ है. So you shift your gears from GS to optional. So looking at your answer and then writing 1 or 2 paper in those 4 days, वो भी बहुत important होता है. Then you get the hang of it.
अच्छा, उस समय भी आप पेपर लिखते हो?
हाँ, मैंने 2 लिखे थे, एक पेपर 1 और एक पेपर 2. Again,
Deeksha
you don't
sir,
have to
this is
spread.
sorry. This is the thing that I am noticing recently.
हाँ.
That between the GS and optional, I think Samiksha also wrote 2 papers and submitted. You also wrote 2 papers and, है ना? So yeah, मतलब I will be very honest. I did not used to recommend this earlier, but from this year onwards, I will recommend to everybody. कि between GS optional, you start writing something.
Yes sir, वो जब तक लिखते नहीं है वो ट्रांसलेट नहीं होता है. Our thinking and writing, वो जो connection है वो I think writing से ही आता है. So in those 4 days it becomes important. Again, don't write it with a time watch over you कि इतने में लिखना ही है. You can be a little liberal as well. You need to brainstorm more and write more. So I think that is important. So
ताकि
in
वो
total,
हिस्ट्री वाले मोड में आप आ जाओ, राइट?
हाँ, बस मोड में आ जाओ. ऐसा नहीं कि आप पूरा 3 घंटा दे रहे हो, लिख ही रहे हो. बट हाँ, उस मोड में शिफ्ट हो जाना चाहिए. So for that, at least 15 papers I had given.
गुड नंबर ऑफ पेपर्स लिखते हो. अच्छा, हाउ डिड यू डिवाइड योर टाइम बिटवीन जीएस एंड ऑप्शनल? मतलब जीएस को कितना टाइम दिया और रफली ऑप्शनल को कितना टाइम दिया? आई एम नॉट फेमिलियर विद कि आपका जीएस का कैसा पहला स्टैंडिंग था.
GS I had prepared basic notes, but again it is something that requires a lot of time. But मुझे ये पता था कि optional will take a lot of time. It will take half my day, so 50-50 divide होता था. But if I start optional, it was very difficult for me to let go it in the middle of it. So बहुत मुश्किल से मैं GS पे shift होती थी. तो कभी-कभी it's not always 50-50. Sometimes it was 70-30. Sometimes GS was 70, optional was 30, but optional was constant. हर दिन तो था ही.
ओके, हर दिन होता था. अच्छा, डिड यू हैव टू फेस एनी एंजाइटी इन द मिडिल? पिछले साल प्री नहीं हुआ था, बिफोर दैट यू हैड टेकन द मेंस एग्जामिनेशन, फॉर सम रीजन नहीं हो पाया, तो आई एम श्योर कि डाउट्स हुए होंगे, सम प्रॉब्लम्स में हैव आल्सो अरिजन, तो पीपल आर इंटरेस्टेड इन नोइंग कि हाउ टू मैनेज दैट.
Yes, sir. History optional is something that overwhelms you a lot. It is so much overburdening of information sometimes. And I remember ki un the 2.5 months, maybe there was one day where I was just overwhelmed by so much information that I sat and I cried for 10 minutes, and then I got back on my chair and started studying. So I think वो एक outburst और वो breakdown होता ही है 10-15 मिनट का कि इतना सारा कैसे होगा. But I think it is all about breaking down the hugeness of the subject. आप जितना उसको break down कर दोगे और छोटा छोटा बना दोगे, it will help you. And after sometimes वो prelims clear नहीं होता है and you are ready with your optional and you just have to बस एक मौका दे दे यूपीएससी आपको हिस्ट्री ऑप्शनल लिखने का and you'll write very well. So I think जब prelims clear नहीं होता है तब it is very important to understand that आपकी वो एक साल की मेहनत वेस्ट नहीं जाएगी. सिमिलरली इन 24 व्हेन आई डिड नॉट गिव मेंस, बट वो 24 की मेहनत 25 में काम आई. सो कभी कभी बस सर नीचे करके मेहनत करनी पड़ती है एंड things will give result if your intention is right and if you're sincere in your efforts.
आई थिंक दैट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट कि आप अपने लिए अचीवेबल टारगेट सेट करिए एंड यू वर्क टुवर्ड्स दोस, कि यार पूरा पहाड़ तो
Yes.
एक दिन में नहीं आप चढ़ जाओगे, बट एटलीस्ट यू कैन मेक सम प्रोग्रेस टुवर्ड्स दैट. एंड यहाँ पे आई थिंक व्हाट यू डिड विद योर नोट्स एंड योर आंसर राइटिंग, आई एम श्योर यू मस्ट हैव डन इट इन अ वेरी स्ट्रक्चर्ड मैनर कि मुझे इस टाइमलाइन में इतना कवर करना है, उसके इस तरह के नोट्स प्रिपेयर हो जाने चाहिए. हिस्टोरियोग्राफी तो मुझे यहाँ से मान लो किताब उठानी है या फिर ये वीडियो देखना है, तो वो यू मस्ट हैव अकाउंटेड फॉर ऑल ऑफ दैट. एंड दीज आर द काइंड्स ऑफ टारगेट्स दैट वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट, राइट?
Yes, sir. Weekly, monthly targets होने चाहिए. I think that gives a purpose in life, especially when you are not giving mains. Then you are a little bit clueless as to what you have to do. But ऐसे में target set करना becomes very important.
अच्छा, देयर इज वन मोर इम्पोर्टेंट क्वेश्चन कि एग्जाम वाला जो प्रेशर है उसको कैसे हैंडल किया जाए. कि एक आपने फुल लेंथ टेस्ट लिखा और 2 घंटे बाद दोबारा से एक फुल लेंथ टेस्ट लिखना है, मतलब कि एक दिन में दो एग्जाम्स लिखने हैं, तो हाउ टू मैनेज दैट? दिमाग काम करना बंद कर सकता है, बॉडी जवाब दे सकती है, एंड्योरेंस खत्म हो सकता है.
वो तो होता है सर. आई थिंक इसलिए बहुत प्रैक्टिस करनी चाहिए एक ही दिन में 2 टेस्ट लिखने की. इनफैक्ट जीएस में भी मैं ये करती थी जीएस में कि मैं 3 टेस्ट लिख देती थी कभी कभी एक दिन में. सो व्हेन यू राइट फॉर 8 to 9 hours, वो 6 घंटे कम लगने लग जाता है. तो कभी कभी इतना इतना लिख लो कि फिर 6 घंटे कम लगने लग जाए. तो मे बी डू दैट. एंड सेकेंडली उस दिन का रेजिलियंस बहुत मैटर करता है. उसके लिए आपको अपना फिजिकल हेल्थ भी यू नीड टू मेक श्योर दैट यू इन द राइट स्टेट. मेंटल हेल्थ ऑल्सो. यू डोंट हैव टू फ्रेट सो मच कि क्या करूंगा, कैसे होगा, ये आ गया तो क्या होगा, व्हाट इफ दिस कम्स एंड आई हैव नॉट रेड इट. सो जो भी आपने किया है उस पर कॉन्फिडेंस रखिए एंड इट विल यील्ड रिजल्ट. एंड इन दोज बिटवीन वो 2 घंटे का जो ब्रेक आता है उसके लिए जो शॉर्ट नोट्स थे वो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. आई थिंक वो पूरा एक साल का मेहनत वो 2 घंटे में ही निकलता है कि आपने जो भी वो छोटा छोटा लिखा है वो आप बस एक बार पढ़ लो. दैट इज
अच्छा,
इट.
उसमें आप यू फ्लिप थ्रू दोज नोट्स वो 2 घंटे में भी?
यस, नोट्स एंड अगेन वो जो बहुत शॉर्ट नोट्स थे वही काम आते हैं. प्लस लिखना तो बहुत ही पड़ता है एंड इट इज समथिंग दैट यू गिव टू दिस एग्जाम. सो आई हैव दिस बम्प, परमानेंट बम्प इन माय फिंगर इतना लिख लिख के. वो हो जाता है. बट
राइट.
या
But
राइट.
I
हो
found
जाता
one more point very important here as a takeaway point, that you prepare not only for a main examination, but you are also preparing for 2 घंटे बीच में क्या पढ़ोगे, 5 दिन पहले क्या पढ़ोगे. That also has to be
है. यस
prepared specifically and consciously.
I used to never
यस
give it my thought earlier, but I think कि flipping through those notes gives you something to do in those 2 hours. Otherwise दिमाग तो पागल हो जाए, पिछले वर्ष सब वाले क्वेश्चन के बारे में सोचेगा, आगे वाले के बारे में सोचेगा, राइट? तो दैट इज.
यस. आई थिंक वो फेलियर ही समझाता है कि कहाँ करना है. 23 का फेलियर नहीं समझाया कि आप रिवीजन सही से नहीं था, शॉर्ट नोट्स नहीं थे, एनर्जी नहीं थी लिखने की. रेजिलियंस नहीं था। तो वो सब जब समझ में आता है तभी आप इम्प्रूव कर पाते हो। सो आई रिमेम्बर मैंने डंबल्स भी करे थे इन माय प्रीलिम, बिफोर माय प्रीलिम्स एंड आफ्टर माय प्रीलिम्स एज वेल, ताकि हाथ की स्ट्रेंथ उतना बढ़ जाए कि पेपर अच्छे से लिख जाए। तो वो भी।
गुड गुड गुड। तो आई थिंक वी आर थ्रू विद द क्वेश्चंस। एक और क्वेश्चन आया है, हिस्ट्री ऑप्शनल हेल्प और ओवरलैप विद अदर पेपर्स सिग्निफिकेंटली?
आई थिंक ये हेल्प, काफी हेल्प ऐसे में तो करता ही है, क्योंकि यू गिव सम यूनिक हिस्टोरिकल स्टोरीज। तो ऐसे में काफी बेनिफिट किया। इन GS4 एज वेल आई हैड अ डिफरेंट पेज रिटन फॉर हिस्ट्री एग्जांपल्स फॉर एथिक्स। सो जितना हम मॉडर्न इंडिया पढ़ते हैं, द स्टोरीज ऑफ बीट्रेयल, द स्टोरी ऑफ जहाँ यूनिटी नहीं थी, और a lot of stories in history. So ethics के examples में they're very handy. In GS1 तो it is almost पूरा ही overlapping है for 100 marks. So definitely very useful. And yeah, I think these three subjects.
इवन पेपर 3 IR इकोनॉमी सब जगह पे
हाँ,
आता है। राइट
true.
राइट।
Even in prelims, I think सबसे ज्यादा benefit तो prelims में है, क्योंकि in 24 as well, I remember there was this question about Piedmont, Sardinia, and prelims में था, mapping का question था, and I could do it because of my history optional knowledge. So yes, वो intangible benefits होते हैं इस optional के।
I think कि what you have done very successfully, especially in this attempt, is कि आपका जितना भी बेसिक मटेरियल है उसके ऊपर आपने एक अपना मेथड ओवरले किया हुआ है। यू हैव मैनेज योर प्रिपरेशन वेरी वेल। तो आई थिंक दैट इज वेरी important message for students, and your presentation once again was very riveting. And on behalf of Level Up IS, I'll be concluding this session with Nikhil sir's permission. And thank you so much for your time. We'll be very happy to have you once again.
Definitely, sir. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you, Deeksha.